Welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. I'm Yvonne Pearson, your host and the founder of Pink Dollhouse Marketing. And on this week's show, we're doing our Marketing Magic episode. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Marketing Magic is when I take popular campaigns that happen on social media or that you see come across your feed and break down the marketing tactics behind them. On this week's show, we're talking all about Coachella and their brand activations, Trader Joe's Tote Frenzy, and T-Pain. You remember T-Pain, his expansion into the gaming industry. So grab your coffee and let's chat. If you want to know my tea concoction for this week, I am doing a mint medley, and I added 2 strawberry cough drops because I'm getting over a sinus cold, hence why we're having tea instead of coffee. And then I add organic honey in there for a little razzle dazzle and Chobani sweet cream. I do like cream in my tea. I know some people are a little about that, but I prefer cream in my tea. It's something me and my Aunt Ann shared as something we both love with our tea. Okay, so in our first story, we're going to talk about Coachella and their activation with attendees by creating engaging brand partnerships. And for those who are new here, if you see me looking down off the screen, it's because I bring notes to the conversation to make sure we're having an engaged and informative chat. This article came from Variety. And for those who are unfamiliar with what Coachella actually is, Coachella is a 2-weekend long festival that happens in California. I think specifically like the Palm Springs area. And it's a great opportunity for both popular and indie artists to get in front of potential audiences, as well as for brand partnerships and activations to highlight and amplify awareness. You see things like brand launches happening. Beyonce last year, she did a semi-truck that promoted Cowboy Carter. You see all kind of things happening at Coachella. And specifically for this conversation, we're going to talk about those engaging brand partnerships that they happen at the festival. So over the course of 2 weekends, April 11th, which was last week, and April 19th, which is this weekend, from the article, it states, ticket festival goers will be able to experience special on-site activation from Red Bull's Mirage Lounge to the classic Do Lab stage and VIP area. There will be plenty of parties, including after-hour celebrations and exclusive activations for those visiting Coachella Valley. So let's get into those marketing takeaways. There are 4 marketing takeaways that I would like to identify. First, one of the marketing takeaways or brand activations that was prevalent at the festival is Lay's. Lay's ability to mix culinary meets creative. So for the activation, Lay's set up an on-site chip making station and a reservation-only 4-course dining experience. Now, I never had that in my bingo card for Lay's, but I like the innovative ideas. Also, why it works. This was not just about snacking. It was about sensory experience, luxury-driven activation that made Lay's feel like a lifestyle brand. We all know Lay's as chips. We don't think of it as like a luxury or lifestyle brand. But over the years, Lay's has done things like do very interesting combinations or things that you not really expect from Lay's potato chips. And it's really cool to see how they're expanding those ideas into this social media or engagement driven market. A key takeaway for this is that everyday brands can elevate their image by creating exclusive, immersive moments that connect directly with consumer senses. Next up is StockX. StockX, if you're unfamiliar with them, they're the ones who are known for those exclusive brand drops and collaborations. Like, for example, if a Jordan shoe were to hit the market, most likely StockX is going to have it. StockX is known for things that drive engagement, drive buzz, and drive conversation. For their activation, StockX created a pop-up art gallery with exclusive merch drops and QR code integration for seamless shopping. Why it works? By collaborating with artists and incorporating tech-driven commerce, StockX solidified its place in festival culture. One of the key takeaways for this is by mixing in real life storytelling with ease of access to digital shopping, this can create both hype and return on investment or ROI. The third takeaway is Poppy. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what Poppy is let's take a step back. So Poppy was first featured on Shark Tank. If you know Shark Tank, I watch it every Friday. It's kind of like going to business school for me. But Poppy was featured on Shark Tank in 2018 under the original name as Mother Beverage. It was recently acquired by Pepsi to the tune of roughly $2 billion earlier this year. And Poppy is known as a drink that, gives the idea of soda without all the things that don't make soda very healthy, right? So what Poppy did is they did a brand activation that mixed wellness with a wow factor. Why it works? It made a gut health drink feel aspirational and fun, also while encouraging user-generated content. To take a step back, focusing on the activation, it introduced the new lemon lime flavor with a futuristic hologram-inspired sampling bar and brand photo ops. The key takeaway from this: product launches tied to visual, shareable moments are gold for social transaction. And what I love is, too, when brands think about this social impact, it creates content that they can then repurpose and repackage and reuse for their own personal marketing tactics. Up next is Coachella's partnership with Fortnite. Now, I'm not a gamer girly myself, but I am familiar with Fortnite. So Coachella and Fortnite, they expanded their virtual stage through this integrative concept. They use exclusive game skins, a virtual Coachella island, and a radio station with live festival artists. Why this works? They brought the Coachella vibe to gamers globally, especially Gen Z. And the key takeaway from this: virtual worlds, as we've seen them grow over the years, like with Meta and things like that, are becoming more legitimate brand playgrounds and great for reach and long-term engagement. And also, too, thinking about the future concepts of festivals and, what engagement can look like. As we continue to expand in the virtual space, we might see an integration of hybrid festivals in which people are not only watching online, but they're engaging with this virtual reality headsets that we're seeing become more popular and more common in the market. So for final thoughts and takeaways from Coachella's ability to blend traditional and innovative marketing strategies help to enhance engagement and attendee experience through smart brand activations. There are a lot more brand activations from Coachella. For the time of this podcast, I did not cover them all, but if you want to learn more, go ahead and visit the Variety article linked in the show notes. All right, in our next story, we're going to be talking about Trader Joe's. Now, I'm not a Trader Joe's girly myself. I do respect the Trader Joe's girlies and how much they love going to Trader Joe's. But we're going to talk about Trader Joe's and their mini tote that has been driving demand across social media and other buying platforms. This article came from Delish. And Delish, I know you're thinking, isn't Delish a place where I would get recipes? Yes and no, but Delish did cover this popular trend. So a blurb from the article reads, the recent launch and update from the Primary Color Collection 2024 is an assortment of pastel shades of blue, green, purple, and pink, ideal for spring and summer. At just 13 by 11 by 6 inches, the mini pastel canvas tote bags are priced at $2.99 a bag. That's a totally reasonable price. Now, also pulling from the article, it states, a search on eBay for Trader Joe's mini pastel canvas tote bag returned over 3,700 search results. While a majority of listings seem to be reasonable resale prices, there are a lot of expensive outliers. The most expensive listing is for a whopping $1 million. Sorry, I was supposed to be reading it. I had a real reaction. $1 million for a set of 8. That's $125,000 per tote. Just below that, a single pastel green tote is listed for $49,890 USD in dineros, and a set of 4 is going for $10,000. Now I know you lost your mind. Let me focus because we're talking about the marketing takeaways for this, but let's talk about 5 marketing takeaways from this mini tote frenzy that Trader Joe's has created. First up from the marketing takeaways, 1 is leveraging limited edition products to drive demand. Trader Joe's released a collection of mini tote bags in the pastel shades, as I shared with you, for $2.99 each. Now, The limited edition availability and seasonal design create a sense of urgency among customers that led to long lines and rapid sellouts in various locations. Number 2, creating a secondary market through scarcity. Now, scarcity marketing, for those who don't know, is something like the equivalent of FOMO, right? For example, and I know I keep pulling Beyonce into the conversation, but just let me cook, okay? For example, scarcity marketing can be tied into concert experience like Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. Understanding how the tickets themselves were in high demand, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, was real for a lot of people, including members of the Hive. So, in order to meet that demand, the requests for tickets or access to tickets drove up because people wanted to have access to Cowboy Carter. Now, to meet that, they did things like pre-sale, codes, early signups for those who are interested to plan ahead to get a chance to get tickets. Not a guarantee, but a chance. Going back into the Trader Joe's initiative, the high demand and limited supply of these tote bags led to a surge in resale listings online. Some sets were listed for high prices like the ones we shared, with one set of 8 bags of the $1 million like I mentioned. Now, this secondary market buzz did amplify the products and the desirability as well as media coverage. So while people were taking these bags that were $2.99 and doing a 100,000 plus markup of them on eBay, it did also drive media coverage discussing the bags on various outlets like the one from Delish. And ideally, that's the goal, right? If you're not being talked about, how important are you, whether it's positive or negative? And Trader Joe's knows what they're doing. While the initial goal for people going to Trader Joe's is to buy food, by Trader Joe's creating their own culture around the store, they're also creating something that their customers feel emotional attachment to by being a fan of not just the grocery store, but the lifestyle that comes with going to Trader Joe's. Number 3, aligning product detail with a seasonal theme. The pastel colors of the tote bags were timed to coincide with spring and summer, making them more appealing as seasonal accessories. This strategic design choice enhanced their attractiveness and relevance during the launch period. And this goes back to the idea of drops. Drops essentially are limited edition releases that allow for people to purchase something for a small amount of time. If you do a drop around a certain time period and coincide that drop like Trader Joe's did with these colors, it allows for people to want to have that item because they know they cannot get it outside of that season. That's essentially what Trader Joe's is doing with these mini tote drops. Number 4, utilizing word of mouth and social media buzz. Again, talking, we're getting to people chattering here on the social media channels. The excitement around the tote bags was largely driven by consumer behavior and social media sharing rather than traditional advertising. Shoppers, in turn, have shared their experiences on social media and the scarcity of the product online, which created organic buzz. We love organic buzz, by the way, and that further increased demand. Again, FOMO, scarcity marketing. People want to be part of a conversation or a culture to drive engagement. That's very important here. Essentially, the goal was people buying these totes, but really it's that FOMO and that's that clout that people want for having something that everyone else wants in return and sharing their experience of obtaining the item, whether it's positive or it's negative. And then number 5, encouraging repeat engagement through collectability. Again, creating the idea of building a lifestyle around a brand or a concept. By releasing those different color variations and making the tote bags in seasonal form, Trader Joe's is tapping into the collectivity fanfare, essentially, of their item. Customers are then motivated to return for new versions, fostering brand loyalty and repeat visits. We see this also too with companies like Starbucks. Starbies, as I like to call it. Starbucks creates seasonal items on their menu. They have their holiday item and along with their holiday cups, which I lie to you not, I do put a calendar reminder in my personal calendar every year to go ahead and get my collectible Starbucks cup in store, as well as try the new seasonal beverage. But they could essentially created a culture around their seasonal items because they know that they're limited and scarce. And once it's gone, it's gone. Trader Joe's is playing from the same playbook here. By creating these mini totes that are seasonal, they're making sure that they are driving store foot traffic, which is very important for a lot of brick and mortar stores, especially as online shopping becomes easier and easier for people to do, whether it's from their computer or their phone. But by driving in real life shopping and making sure that this is not available to purchase online, similar to Starbucks with their seasonal cups, they are in turn bringing people in and not only having them get those mini totes, but then in turn people are going to be like, hey, I need to get some groceries while I'm here. So they're purchasing one item that could turn into multiple items, and as well keeping their customers engaged and feeling like they're part of a community with these mini totes. So let's go into those final thoughts. Final thoughts are wrapping it up with a big bow. Trader Joe's is effectively creating product hype and customer engagement, like I shared before, with these limited releases. They're doing seasonal alignment, again, pulling from that Starbucks playbook, and more importantly, leveraging organic marketing channels that they can then repackage, recreate, and reuse for future campaigns. Okay, in our final story, and I know it goes so fast, but again, it's marketing magic. And we don't want to stay too long by doing too many stories, but if you ever want to hear more of my marketing takes on insights, you can always follow me on social media, where I post more frequently about things that are happening in the industry. So let's talk about T-Pain. And y'all remember T-Pain. My elder millennials, come to the front. You remember T-Pain, buy you a drink, ooh, I'll take it home, I got money in the bank. Okay, I'm having a full flashback, and we are here for the show, and not for my college days, which a time was had. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here to talk about T-Pain's move into the tech industry, specifically into the gaming market. Now, this came from Afrotech, and if you're unfamiliar with Afrotech, go ahead and look them up. They're a really great resource if you ever want to hear about inclusion and belonging in the tech space. So, to pull a blurb from the article, the Global Gaming League, GGL, a professional gaming entertainment organization featuring celebrity team owners, has successfully raised $10 million in its SAFE round, led by the private equity group Soko Capital, according to a news release. Founded by multi-platinum music producer and entrepreneur Clinton Sparks, in collaboration with Grammy Award-winning artist T-Pain and tech visionary Jeff Hoffman, GGL is building the first entertainment system that monetizes the world's largest and most engaged audiences, the more than 3 billion people who play video games. Now let's talk about those marketing takeaways. And for this one, I'm going to focus on 5 key areas. First, celebrity integration as part of a marketing strategy. GGL has strategically involved celebrities like T-Pain, who will be taking a position as director of strategy, Bryce Hall, Flavor Flav, Flavor Flav, or for those who are a little bit younger, the guy from what's that show called? I Love New York, Flavor of Love kind of thing. Yeah. And more recently, who was a supporter of the women's polo team for the Olympics. Let's just get a little bit more current instead of aging myself on my own platform, which, okay. Anyway, Flavor Flav and Ric Flair as team owners. This approach leverages their fan bases to attract a diverse audience and adds mainstream appeal, which is very important, to appeal to the league. Number 2, securing significant investment for growth. The league has successfully raised $10 million in a SAFE round led by Soko Capital. This funding is aimed at building an entertainment system that monetizes the vast gaming audience, which includes, again, over 3 billion players worldwide. And for those who are like, well, I'm not a gamer, why is this important to me? Gaming is not just having a Nintendo, DS or a PlayStation. Gaming can be something as simple as your phone device. It could be, something that you're doing on the plane while you're traveling, because they do have interactive games depending on the airline that you choose. There's so many ways to look at gaming, even down to things like training materials that people can use for training and building the skills of their individual teams. Also, for number 3, establishing a technological advanced venue. So GGL is set to host matches in its 43,000 square foot campus and arena in Las Vegas, featuring the largest wraparound digital screen in the Western U.S., powered by VU. This venue is designed to offer immersive experiences for both players and spectators. So let's take a step back. Remember when I was talking about how things like Coachella, even though it's a festival with an in-person piece to it right now, that's the largest piece, that there is opportunity for Coachella or festivals in general to look into like a hybrid model. This could be a space for gaming to step in, because this venue could be then a hub for gamers to come in and have the Coachella maybe like virtual experience, or do more expanded brand partnerships with like Coachella and Fortnite. There's a lot of opportunity here, and even low-hanging fruit from a messaging standpoint, to allow for people to see the value and future of the virtual gaming space and also the virtual event industry. Number 4, launching GGL Academy for community engagement. The introduction of GGL Academy aims to provide gaming education, mentorship, career opportunities, and particularly targeting and underserved communities. This initiative positions the organization as a platform for talent development and inclusivity in the gaming industry. And as someone who is an advocate when it comes to building inclusivity in marketing and belonging, no matter what you look like or the skills that you bring to the table, the gaming industry is another space where we have not seen enough diverse growth in terms of opportunities for others to be successful in this field. It's still very segmented off, where you don't see a lot of gamers receiving bigger opportunities that they should receive. Now, there are people like, I think his name is Kai Sense, who has done a great job of building a network on Twitch, but platforms like Twitch, this platform GGL that's coming up, there's so many different ways to amplify inclusion and belonging in the gaming space, to allow for up and coming talent to not only be in front of the camera, but behind the camera, helping to build other spaces or innovative in tech that will allow for this space to get even bigger over time. Then let's talk about capitalizing on gaming industry growth. This is point number 5. With projections including that the gaming industry will surpass $300 billion by 2026. Yes, in less than a year. GGL's timing aligns with market expansion. By creating a centralized platform that connects brands, celebrities, and gamers, GGL is poised to tap into this growing market effectively. I definitely see this growing as not just a platform, but also expanding into the social media space, like I mentioned before with Twitch, maybe having their own immersive platform that allows for gamers to talk to each other, create content, build content. There's a lot of things that can be done with this GGL platform. So let's go into final thoughts here. Final thoughts. Overall, the Global Gaming League, GGL, is blending entertainment, technology, and community engagement to redefine the gaming landscape. More importantly, people like T-Pain are very smart for expanding their portfolio to include this space. The tech space itself is a lucrative market depending on what you tap into. And as I've stated before, marketing, I see emergence between marketing and tech coming up very soon. With things like AI becoming ever more popular and integrated in our daily day-to-day practices, whether it's with, streamlining processes or using it for admin work and things like that, you're seeing tech go into a lot more spaces than before, and spaces that you didn't consider. You considered, more traditional markets. We're definitely going to see tech grow and become part of our everyday lives even more than it is right now. And gaming, the growth that's going to happen in gaming over the next year or so, especially with it projected to hit $300 billion by 2026, T-Pain knows exactly what he's doing and knows how to take advantage of the low-hanging fruit as it happens right now to get in early before it becomes too hard for anyone to get into the space. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow Coffee with Yvonne on IG and Threads under Coffee with Yvonne. And you can sign up for my newsletter to get personalized audio and video content. I'm talking about marketing magic that we don't cover on the show. I'm talking about things like, special audio clips for me personally, all the things by visiting the show notes. For my personal account, you can find me on Instagram and Fanbase, as well as TikTok, aka the Clock app, under Yvonne_creative marketer. To learn more about me and my business, go ahead and visit pinkdollhousemarketing.com, or you can visit me on Instagram. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. More importantly, my fellow creatives, remember to keep showing up, keep creating, and that your voice matters. I'll see you next time on Coffee with Yvonne, and I cannot wait to chat with you soon. Okay, bye! Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Doll House Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.